Okay, it says we're live. Let's see if YouTube allows me to go live. All right, if you're watching us, sorry, but let's see. Okay. All right, we're live now on YouTube. All right, okay. If you're watching us, sorry, but all right, so let's close that. Let's check Facebook. I wonder what it could be.
I'm curious too. At least if you know what it is, you can solve this. Solve the problem. Mm-hmm. If you don't know,
we're live.
What do you do?
Okay. Let's come back live on Instagram since we got shut off unexpectedly. Okay, these people. Maybe we don't even have to announce anymore. Honestly, what do you think?
Announce the live?
Yeah.
On Facebook?
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we should stop letting the enemy know that we're going live. What's going on, guys? We're coming right back.
What enemy? Oh, Prince Ayala said he lives in the New York area.
Yeah.
Oh, we're neighbors.
We're neighbors. Say neighbor. Say neighbor.
We're neighbors.
All right. So we're back live. Welcome. We're talking about jealousy, secrets in a marriage. That's what we're talking about. We're also in the middle of reviewing marriage boot camp.
Yes.
But I think we should move on now.
Yeah, let's move on to the movie Fatal Affair.
So there's a movie on Netflix. Tell us about that, babe.
There's a movie on Netflix by is it by Nia Long, or she just happened to be in the movie? Well, Nia Long is in it.
She's starring Nia Long and Omar Epps.
Omar Epps is in it.
Yeah.
I don't know the light-skinned dude's name. Sorry. She's married, and she's a lawyer, right? She's an attorney.
Yes.
She's an attorney.
Yes.
She ran into a friend from the past 20 years ago.
Yep.
Came to our firm, and they started talking. They went out, right, to celebrate. He's a hacker. Is that his job?
It's a profession. That's what he said.
He's a professional hacker. Okay. So they went out to coffee, and they started talking about their own relationship. He said he's divorced. She said she's married.
Right.
And he asked if there's trouble in paradise. And she insinuated that sometimes she feels like the person she's been married to for the past 20 years.
That's you can see what she wants.
For the past 20 years is a stranger.
Right. So they were together in college.
They went to school together.
Right.
But he liked her back in school, but I guess he didn't muster the courage to ask her out.
Right.
One of those, the creepy ones.
That's one of the questions I have for you.
So they ended up going out to have coffee. From there, they went to the club, and before you know it, they were kissing, doing all sorts of, they were about to smash, and she stopped it, and she said she's not interested. But the guy kept pushing on.
They were about to smash in the bathroom in the club.
Yeah, here to fill that in.
Yeah.
I can't.
And she's married to a person at home.
I said that part. She's married.
And this person just went through a surgery.
Oh, that's true. It was going through some kind of
related surgery.
Yes.
Okay.
So she didn't want to have sex. I mean, maybe she wanted to have sex, but in that moment she got herself back and said, no, this has to stop. I can't do this.
Right.
But the guy became obsessed with the whole idea, started showing up in different places.
Right.
Ended up showing up in our house with our best friend. The whole thing became a whole mess.
Right.
That he befriended the husband and tried to kill her husband and her child.
Right.
And at the end of the day, she killed him. And
All right.
It's Fatal Affair. It's a it's a good one. It's a
All
good
right.
one to watch because it will warn you what not to do and be careful out there.
So, what's the lesson in this movie? What lesson did you pull out for married couples in this movie? What's like the number one lesson that you pulled out of it? What's up, Tomilola? What's up, Ademola? Adio? What's up, Gladim? Yeah. So, what was like the number one lesson you pulled out from this movie?
It's kind of still tricky for me because I feel like she didn't go seeking the dude. But
that's how you feel?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Well, people don't go seeking each other.
Sometimes people do. He actually planned the whole thing. She was caught unawares.
Really?
Yeah, he said he's a professional hacker. He purposely got a job with our company so he could see her. He was obsessed with her. So what do you do in that situation where you just, being yourself and doing things normally and you think you're hanging out with a friend and you don't know that this friend is a psycho? What do? That is obsessed with you.
Well, I asked you a couple of questions. When they ended up on a dinner date, a friend was supposed to be there.
Yeah, right? I don't want to say that because you are married, you can't go eat lunch with a colleague or a friend.
Huh?
Because you're married.
I asked you a question.
Yes, what's the question?
Let me repeat that question. See, you see my just now.
I'm just saying.
I asked you when we were watching it. I asked you a question. I said, if you're on a dinner date with a friend, a guy friend,
yes,
a friend of the opposite sex,
yes,
I said, if the husband walked in right now, would she catch some kind of anxiety and want to explain herself? Would she want that to happen in that moment in time?
No, she wouldn't. Because
no. What was your first answer before we saw the rest of the movie?
What was my first answer?
You said she was just introduced, right? That's
if she doesn't have anything hidden in her cupboard, she would introduce.
I said even if she didn't have anything, the fact is that the husband did not know
that she was
that another dude was going to be hanging out with them in a club.
Okay, so you're
late
right
evening.
So you're right about that in that aspect.
Right.
The fact that she didn't let her husband know that, dude, I'm gonna be hanging out with a friend from the past.
Yeah.
That shows that she's hiding something in that moment.
And I didn't want to be right. I'm just saying, would she want to would she be scared all of a sudden?
She would catch anxiety.
But even if it's a man, you could be scared.
You will catch
anxiety. If you're hanging out with a girl, it's not even your girlfriend. You actually have no ulterior motive.
But you didn't tell your wife.
But you don't necessarily want your wife to walk in on you guys right now.
So it's one of those secrets that you don't feel the need to share. You're like, okay, I'm just hanging out with a friend. We're just eating lunch. What's the big deal?
Secrets. We're talking about secrets. So it's not about right and wrong. It's about would excuse my motion English right now.
It's you're not from Mushin, you're from Akure. Stop messing with Mushin people. What's wrong with you?
Would that make
Mushin people don't speak like that?
you feel scared? Would that make you catch anxiety? Would you want to be looking over your shoulder? Would you want to be having this dinner right now? If your wife knew about it, if your husband knew about it? If the answer is no,
you shouldn't be, right?
That's one of those secrets that you probably should not be engaging in. You know, and I hate to judge women. Problem is that women judge women more than anybody else.
It doesn't mean that you're allowed to judge women.
I'm actually saying that because I'm not going to judge women.
Right.
I'm not going to judge women. That's why I said even a man could be like, oh yeah, meat, and it's still acceptable, more acceptable.
Yes.
To just say meat. But a woman will actually be much more scared to be in that situation. So at that moment in time where they were on that dinner, and she's not really feeling like herself, she shouldn't have been there in the first place. But you guys, we don't want to spoil the movie too much. I just have a couple of questions for you.
We already did. I said the whole thing.
No, they still need to watch it.
I mean, I didn't. I just summarized it. It's not. It's a good movie. You should check it out.
Yeah, you should still watch it. Let me just show you a couple of things. Okay. That I feel like we could learn from the questions that I had for you, particularly. Okay, so which is worse? So this was a friend that always liked her, but never really got the chance, right?
But she didn't
Always,
know. Did she
she
know?
didn't know,
Okay.
but he never really got the chance. He never really told her. She didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
but she said maybe I was waiting,
Mm.
and there are a lot of
For you
situations
to
like that.
speak up.
Yeah, there's a lot of situations like that you speak to the person years later, and they say, "I thought you liked me. I thought you were always gonna ask me
But you never did.
and you never did, right?" So that kind of friend or an actual ex-boyfriend that you were with, which one is word? Which one is worse to play around with like that? To have a secret relationship with. Now she continued to argue that this is nothing. We don't have nothing. But the problem is that they did have something. Because if it was nothing, she should be able to tell the husband.
I agree.
Okay, that's why emotional affairs are actually worse than physical. They're actually worse.
There's something that's making you feel like it's wrong anyway. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna tell my spouse.
Yes, it hurts just as much, if not more, because you will never know. It hurts you too, because if you always wanted to smash that person and it was all emotional, you would you never smash, but then you have to answer to that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That hey, you messed with this person. If there was text messages and things like that, right? So it was basically an emotional affair, almost turned physical, that turned out to be a fatal situation, right? So which one is worse? Is there ex or just a friend? It was just a friend. Since it was just a friend, we could just go hang out. It shouldn't be an issue. Go hang out late night. I'm just hanging out with other friends anyway. My friend just happened to not show up, right?
So hanging out with a friend that you know likes you, or your ex.
But he just likes you. It was never an ex. Which one is worse?
Either one, I think, is this. It can't wake on. Like one is not better than the other. They are both as dangerous.
They're both as dangerous.
Yes.
So when you say dangerous, how dangerous could it possibly be? It's just a friend. We're just
He likes you. He's obsessed with you. He likes the idea of being with you.
Some people will say that's just movies.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's gonna come and try to kill you and your family. Fatal attraction.
Okay, when they start feeling
this one
entitled.
Is fatal affair.
When they start feeling entitled, like they own you.
How do you define an affair?
Something that happens within while you're married to someone, that's an affair. Having entanglement, I guess. No, it's not entanglement actually.
Entanglement.
Because Will and Jada were separated, but people still say it's still a marriage.
No, it was an entanglement, and she was right by using the word entanglement. It means a relationship that's complicated, that has messiness in it.
Right.
It's messy by nature.
Right.
It doesn't make it not a relationship. It's not about right and wrong.
Right.
It's about that this can potentially cause issues, right? So I think what we need to do is so Jummy Girl. Hi, Jummy Girl. Why do I feel like that's Nika? I agree with you, Lola. It's dangerous. So I agree it's dangerous. Can we go in depth a little bit on how dangerous is it? Like what can actually happen when you say it's dangerous to have an affair that's not really an affair?
There are feelings involved, and you don't know.
It's an affair, but it's not really an affair because I have no ulterior motives.
That's what people say.
I don't have any plans.
That's what people say until they get so invested in you, and they now feel like, oh my God, I can't let this person go. And the worst ones are the ones that think that they love you than your actual spouse.
I don't have any plans to sleep with her. I'm not thinking about sleeping with her. She's just a friend. We're just on a dinner date
that you wish would be yours. If you
no, I don't wish. No, I'm not thinking about that at all.
But see, that's why I said. So this in this movie's case is different. He really liked her. He wanted to date her. He just didn't have the chance. Like he didn't see an opening to ask her out.
Right, that's him.
Yeah.
You, the girl. So I switched it. Sorry. So the girl, you're just out with a friend, right? So are you saying people should not go out with just somebody you think is just a friend? Are you saying don't do
Let
it?
me tell you something. If you know that person likes you, you know that person wants to be with you. Let's not lie to ourselves. There's feelings involved. When there are feelings involved, you have to be careful. You have to tread lightly. If you say you can control this shit, what if that person is not strong enough to control it? It's still going to end up to
but I'm
being
controlling
a mess.
myself. I don't care if he can control himself or not.
And then he can become obsessed, and then before you know it, it will start threatening you. It will put you in a messy situation. It's just, if you can avoid it, avoid it. It's hard sometimes, but if you can.
Hi, Bussy Love.
Hi, Bussy Love.
I think and hi, Hike Boyo. I think I agree with you 100%. But I like to dig in deeper to emotions that makes people like her. For example, this lady, Fatal Affair, go watch it. We're not going to spoil that, I promise. Okay. She was in a place where she was questioning. The exact words that she used was like, she feels like she wake up 20 years later into a marriage and she feels like the spouse
is a stranger.
Like she's with a stranger. She feels like she was with a stranger.
What does that tell you? There's complacency in that situation right
On the part of who?
Well, it could be both parts.
You meant complacency, baby?
Yeah,
complacency. This is real life. This is real life. Go ahead,
anyway, sometimes men don't pay attention to their wives, and most times it's not that they are doing it on purpose. So
you're trying to say all the time women pay attention to their husband?
I'm just saying sometimes.
I'm asking for someone new.
Do I pay? No. I'm not perfect. Let me use me.
I didn't talk about you.
No, I'm going to use me because I'm not going to generalize. I can only use me. It's not every time I pay attention.
Okay.
But can I say that I pay attention most times? Yes, I do.
Okay. To your man?
Yes.
Okay. Except if we're at a party.
Baby,
and I'm feeling jealous that you left me at the table by myself.
I barely leave you at the table by yourself. That was an inside joke.
If you missed the beginning of the chat, sorry.
I barely leave you by yourself. Come on,
you don't leave me. I'm just
kidding. Exactly. So, but sometimes men, I feel like when men, when people get married, men naturally just go about their business.
Oh yeah.
Married now. Let's just,
you are here now. We die here.
You ain't going nowhere. They don't fit into their wife's emotional needs.
Right.
They don't truly understand women. When women talk about emotional needs, men are like, huh? What do you mean? I feed you. I take care of our kids.
Yeah, what do you mean by emotional needs?
What do you mean? And emotional need. And men, when men can connect to their wives emotionally, trust me, you can be having the best sex ever, and it will still not feel the same for the woman.
Yeah.
Because
but
emotionally,
for men,
you're not
it feels
there.
The same always.
But for men, it's like, okay, why are you not feeling? I'm putting in my best work. Yeah, I'm doing everything. What's wrong with this woman? This woman is just she's emotionally checked out.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going on over there.
Okay, so she husband was recovering from a surgery, some type of position, and she was feeling disconnected. She felt like she's with a stranger.
Right.
She went out on a quick afternoon coffee date with
to celebrate
potential colleague to celebrate some kind of breakthrough from work.
Yeah.
And then she ended up saying, well, sometimes you just wake up and she said it to the dude.
He asked. Like, is there trouble in paradise?
Is there trouble in paradise?
He insinuated, and in that moment, she was just feeling free.
All right, so I don't want to talk about the movies too much. Let's just talk about this is where we came up with secrets.
Right.
This is why we're talking about secrets.
Right.
The other one was about jealousy. This one's about secrets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the dude started acting out, that's the external affair guy, started to really act like a maniac. He said, we could do this. It's like, there is no this. She said, there is no this. But she did not tell her husband.
No, she didn't tell her husband.
Until it was too late.
Almost too late.
Well, it was too late because somebody
life
died.
And death situation.
Right. Until it was life and death. And it was always life and death situation when you don't know. People are crazy out there.
I'm telling you. People forget that they wear suits.
Are crazy.
It don't matter.
And there could be a professional. Oh yeah,
Yes.
he's a fine boy. No, why would you want to do that? You'd be shocked. Okay. No, these are the kind of people that visit therapists every other day because they
Yes.
have anger issues. They are divorced. It's not the problem is not that they're divorced. The
I
problem
was
is
gonna
that
say, wait, what?
the problem is that they are divorced. This particular guy was divorced because of anger issues,
Anger
and he
issues.
actually killed his ex-wife.
Mhm.
But she did not know that. It looks like a normal person.
Yes.
And it's the excitement when you meet a new person that you don't know comes from the fact that you don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
The excitement when you met your significant other in the beginning, the excitement that you seem like you lost suddenly right now because you're going through, because you're disconnected, that excitement came from the fact that you didn't know that person.
Yeah.
That's where the word complacency comes in, right? Complacency comes when see
finish. Yes.
right? When you know everything you can know about that person. That person is predictable.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
You know how they move, you know when they go to work.
There's no
You know
spontaneous.
when they sleep at night, they sleep that way. You kind of know the sound of their snore, you know the music they sing with their snore, and at that point in time, you now feel disconnected. You feel disconnected because you're not in control of your own personal emotions. And you're normal like everybody else.
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
But what you need to do, if you value life, if you value relationships, if you value your home, maintaining a home for your kids, right? What you need to do is get into a place where you realize that it's time to learn something beyond just the natural that happens because you're meeting something new. New is exciting, right? Some people used to say the best what's the clean word to use? I don't want to be anyway. The best pussy is a new pussy, right? I was struggling. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Jesus is
right?
Lord.
Right.
Okay, I hear you.
But that's only valid if the value you're getting from her is only pussy. You're absolutely right. But when you're married to a person, right? That's not the only value you're getting from that. That's now your best friend. That's the person you said you committed to wanting to spend your life with them. You didn't say you wanted to spend your life with them because they have a good pussy.
Okay.
No, it was a little bit more than that. Hopefully.
That pussy will shock you.
Right.
It will look like old. That new pussy will become old too.
Yeah, hopefully it was the other value, right?
Yes,
how many times do you know people that their wife or the husband is not in the best shape, but they love him to death?
Yes.
And her to death, exactly like that.
Yes.
They can't you're comparing two wrong things together, because they've gone through, they're together, they plan to spend their life together. This person is now like they're part of who they are. Right. So that's the problem that happens. So there are two sides to it. Okay, we're talking about a fatal. It doesn't have to be a fatal affair. For most of us, it's not going to be a fatal affair, but it's actually fatal from an emotional standpoint.
Yes.
From the standpoint that it can destroy your home and you're going to end up on a court steps,
right,
fighting for custody,
right,
just because you can't control yourself or you feel disconnected for a second and you do something that's going to cost you a lifetime of pain.
I mean, I don't want to say disconnected for a moment. What if a woman is married to a jackass man that doesn't want to do better, that doesn't want to be better, and they feel stuck?
The truth is that things do happen in life. Okay. And when I say a moment, I'm saying that with respect to a lifetime.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
It's a temporary, your feelings are temporary by nature. That's just what they are. They're temporary. It is a temporary, how you feel right now or for the next 2 years, because you guys are going through 9 to 10 years of everyone trying to give up on the marriage, right? How you feel right now is still temporary in the grand scheme of things, right? The question I would ask you with that question you asked is, was that person a jackass in the beginning?
No, they were sweet.
They're usually not a jackass.
That's why you ended up with them. You didn't see that part of them.
But let's not be anything here. Some people are jackasses and you should run from jackasses, right?
Oh, some people are attracted to jackasses.
Some people are attracted to jackasses too, right? So I'm not saying there's no people like that. I'm saying for the most part, is a jackass right now because it's being complacent, right? He's a jackass right now
because of his own struggles.
he's struggling. He doesn't realize that you're actually feeling the way you're feeling right now. He's in the
Wait,
dark.
what if you?
He's in the dark.
What if you told him and he still can't comprehend it?
Speaking from experience, he's still in the dark. If you tell me, I've never been married before. It's first time a woman who is my wife, with my mother and my 2 kids, is telling me that I'm feeling some type of way. So you think I am equipped to understand that right off the bat? I'm probably just gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry, and then you still feel like unheard. You still feel unheard. Like it's real. So I'm not like, that's why I always say it's not right and wrong. Is it wrong? Okay, good, it's wrong. But that has nothing to do with what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do.
It's not about right and wrong. It's about how do we move forward. Like some people are stuck in a limbo. Like I'm telling you, this is how I feel. What we can do to get out of it, and you still don't want it. It's a common thing. Like you hear women ask their husbands, let's go to therapy, let's go to counseling, and these dudes are like, no, I don't do therapy. I'm an African man. Like, at what point are you gonna make a change? We gotta get out of where we are right now. It's not a safe place for both of us.
It's like, how do you move forward?
How do you move forward
in a healthy relationship, though?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to move forward, but in a healthy relationship.
Right.
Okay. So we're talking complacency. She found herself. That movie, go watch it. It's a cool movie. But the end of it, where they're fatal and they're stabbing each other, hopefully nobody ends up there. But you've seen the news. It does happen in real life.
It does happen in people's lives, yes.
But for most people, they're not going to experience that. They're going to experience worse, which is emotional turmoils, emotional heartache, a lifetime of emotional pain in a marriage that you don't really enjoy. That's going to be most people, and it's not better than a fatal situation, right? All right. So how do you move? So for her, she was experiencing a temporary setback. It's completely emotional. Recognize that what you're feeling is a feeling. It's temporary. It's emotions. Okay. And part of that formula that's going to help you get out of it is part of that formula is going to be time, patience, essentially, right? Then you're going to need self-development, right? Personal development. You need to work on yourself. And if the person is being outright a jackass, working yourself will help you learn how to deal with the person who does not value you, a person who does not have respect for you. There's a part that you're playing to make them feel like they
can be that way, and you will always be there to receive it.
Yes.
Okay. I hear you.
Now it takes two to tango. Okay. This is the point where it takes two to tango. You should ask yourself, what am I contributing into? Even when we were chatting with Ubi yesterday, he said he always asks himself.
And that's a good point.
How did he say it?
What part am I playing?
What part am I playing?
It's a good point because, sometimes we complain about the other person, then we forget that we're part of the equation. What's making that person feel this way? Why is this
feel like they can treat me this way?
Exactly. So we do play a part in it.
Yes. So if I'm arguing with her and I go, she argues too much.
But you're also engaging her.
What do you mean? But you're engaging the argument. What makes you want to engage argument with her? She just doesn't make sense sometimes. Tell me more. What exactly were you guys talking about? So, because they need to feel heard. Honestly, they need to feel heard a little bit before I can help them out. That's why I'm saying that. By the time you tell me that you also engage in arguments, that what I want to fix is that 50% part of yours that you're donating into that engagement.
If you fix your part, maybe there'll be a shift.
Yes.
Because someone cannot argue by themselves.
No, they can't.
At some point,
most normal people can't.
They will catch themselves and say, I think I'm losing it. Why am I talking to myself?
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yep.
So I get that part.
So if you're now saying I'm going to switch partners to another person to fix that issue, you got a problem because it's still you, the 50% at least.
You will carry that 50%
to the other person.
And then it's going to start all over again in a different form. Sometimes.
And keep in mind that your excitement about the other person is coming from the fact that you don't know them. She caught herself early enough. It was only one encounter, but it was still bad enough.
Yes.
That's because relationships and marriage cannot be measured like human measurements, units. You can't measure it in the form of seconds and times. Oh, yeah, she cheated for 10 years. So I can go at least for 5 years, I'll be okay. You may not be okay after 1 minute. Your
That's
own
true.
may be 30 seconds of a compromising position,
Right.
and it can destroy your life.
It's true.
So you can't measure it that way. So the real question that a person that finds themselves questioning their marriage, I feel like I'm in I feel like I'm with a stranger after 20 years. The real question is that you chose that person, and you're in a bad place, such a bad place right now, that you're not questioning yourself. That says a lot about you. Unless that person is physically, verbally abusive, and we can see it. And yes, emotional abuse too, right? But even in that case, we just said you helped make that happen. And that's the first thing we want to deal with. And the other choice you have is to run away from your problems, like most people do.
Do you feel like she kind of when she and the guy, they went to the club and they were about to smash, and she cut herself and she went home. Everything shifted with her and her husband.
Right. So she needed to. What happened there was that sometimes when you get into a place where you felt it, like you almost lost everything I cared about, that edge right there is sometimes where you need to get to appreciate what you have. And it's not right or wrong.
I agree.
And it's just what it is.
I agree.
We play irregularly like that. All of us do to a certain extent, right? We do what we're not supposed to be doing. We compromise on our values and morals because we're suffering inside too.
Yeah, it's weakness.
When
you're weak.
That's why I don't like the right and wrong thing.
Right.
Because you throw all that moral compass, you throw that away when you're weak emotionally. You throw that out the window. And it's not because you deliberately do that. You're just too weak. And you start devaluing everything you ever cared about. Obviously, it makes sense to protect what you care about, but it suddenly doesn't make sense anymore. So now you think some moral values is going to make sense? No. Especially when we're talking about feel good. Jada said, I had not felt good for so long.
I mean, that's real.
Right?
That's real. And I had, there's a program that I like watching, and one of the ladies there said, for some of us that have morals, we think about our children, we think about this, and we would never do what Jada did. And I looked at her like, oh, you haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
You've not been pushed to the wall. You've not felt disconnected. You still have some zeal going for you. Right. And tap into that, because when you get to that point, morals won't come into your head. I'm sorry.
It's the last thing you're thinking about.
It's not a matter of right and wrong.
What you're thinking about when you're emotionally weak or emotionally suffering is survival. That's the only thing that comes to mind. And I'm talking about survival emotionally.
Yeah.
You have people in situations where they don't know, they have panic attacks, they have anxieties, they have attacks.
It's real.
And they're not sure how long they can maintain, right?
Yes.
They feel like they're in a jail, in a prison yard. They feel like they're in confinement.
Like lost.
Yeah, they feel like they're in a hole, like a confinement. And it's worse than when that happens physically. Okay? It's like imagine some kind of, God forbid, right? A voice talking to you in your head and just yelling and yelling. Sometimes if I hear,
you want to talk about morals when that happened, I mean,
that narrowed tiny sound that you hear sometimes. They're like, what the hell is that? And you do like this, and then it just.
You hear moral? I don't hear anything. I beg.
I'm sure somebody can relate. It's happened at least twice in my lifetime.
Wow.
Where you hear like a very tiny siren type of sound.
Oh, like piercing.
It's like maybe something was beeping upstairs, maybe one of the smoke detectors or something like that. And it penetrates the brain enough for you to be, so what's that? And it's like, oh, it's just me. It's just like a twitch or something like that.
Right.
Or some kind of twitch, or even some kind of twitching around your things that affect your senses, your sense organs, that you lost control for a split of a second.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody enduring that on a consistent basis.
Wow.
That's what that's a minuscule of what people that hear voices in their head experience. Okay, so that's a person who feels lost in a relationship. 20 years we're talking about. It's not just they woke up 20 years. That's just a saying. It's a slow death that's been happening over time.
Yes.
And the best thing for that person to do is to realize that that's me. You know, when people say it's not me, it's not you,
it's not
me.
you, it's me. It's real.
That's real. That's real. You know, yeah, they're about to go get with somebody else because they think it's a quick fix for whatever they're going through emotionally. They feel like I'm disconnected. You know, I completely understand it when you don't know any better. That, you know what, if I could just replace that other human being, that will solve it. No, it won't. In fact, it can potentially destroy everything you care about.
It could, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because sometimes, like I said, you have to get to that edge to suddenly appreciate
what you have.
Yeah. You know, gratitude is not the easiest things in the world. I found out that a couple of things are very hard to do hard for us as human beings. One of them is consistency, to be consistent.
Consistency.
It's very hard to be consistent because we get bored. Same reasons.
Yes.
Right? We get bored, we want to switch strategies. We think that if you go the shortcut, you compare yourself to another person's life, you know.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know, and it's a known fact of life that slow and steady wins all the time. I don't care what you're measuring. It could be money, it could be happiness. Slow and steady is the best thing that you want to have. But anyway, so that's consistency. The second thing is gratitude. A lot of people pray and say, "I thank you, God, thank you, Lord, but they don't
understand what they are even.
They don't live that life of thank you. Just the attitude of thank you. They don't live that life. It's hard to live that life because you know why it's hard? Because we tend to when you don't go become a student of life, right? And relationships, self-development student. If you don't become that, what you find is that you always have an outlook on what's bad about your life. That's the first place that your mind go to always.
It's true.
You're always thinking what is bad about
you don't
your
look
life.
at the good part of your life.
Yeah, it's you know, and it's the same thing you do with your spouse. You're always thinking about what is wrong with him. There are good things about him. If I put you into an exercise,
you forget that in that moment.
Yes, there are good things about him or her, but we tend to, you know, our mind goes to why is it that breaking news is always bad news on CNN? Because we get entertained by that more.
Yeah, the same reason why negativity rocks the world.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. We used to do a show. We started YouTube. Actually, those YouTube channels are slapped. You know, YouTube has always been insulting and harassing us for a long time. We were like the first YouTubers ever before they called the YouTuber.
Wait, 2009?
2009.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we used to talk about celebrities at that time because
Nollywood
stuff, because it was, you know, you talk about all these bad things that happen with these people, and it seemed entertaining, but it takes a
draining.
Toll.
It was draining.
It takes a toll on you that you're actually given that.
Yeah, I personally didn't like it because I felt like I don't want to be one of those people promoting negativity. I'd rather put in some positivity in this life. You know, I don't want to be remembered for something like that. And those people are going through their shit through the public eye.
Right.
Even though they put themselves out there, they still deserve some empathy.
For me, I didn't mind. I'll be honest, I didn't mind. I mean, because what you did at the time is that you tell me what happened with somebody, and I would just say my opinion about it. But for me at the time, at that time, monetizing YouTube was not a thing for me. So I question any activity that I do that's not productive for me. So after a while, at one point I said we should do seasons by seasons. So we have breaks and stuff like that. And that's what we did back then. But yeah, I wanted to pull out the point that it's entertaining to talk about bad things that happen. So channels like this, there are actually very big channels talk about positive things like this, but it's usually because slow and steady, or they brought a brand from somewhere else, and they have people following. Like if Oprah starts masterclass, right, life class and stuff like that's Oprah. So it's understandable why it grew very fast, but if we were here talking about somebody, excuse me, Bobrisky or somebody, or Bobrisky had a baby for a man, and the man didn't know for 20 years that it was his baby or something, we would find that entertaining.
People find that entertaining.
It's the same. We're all like that. Even in our relationships, we see negative about the person more than we see
positive.
The positive is the point I'm trying to make. So as a person going through personal growth, you want to now deliberately tell yourself, I know that's a feature, that's a characteristic of us, but if I want better, if I want life that's better than most people's life, if I want to enjoy relationships better than most people enjoy relationships, then I have to be deliberate about how I lead, how I see my spouse, how I see my relationships.
Right.
Just choose to see the best in them. Choose to, your mind always assume the worst case scenario. That's where fear comes from, right? Like, oh, boom, your mind goes to the worst case scenario, right? What if it's just something positive, right? That takes a lot of work. That takes growth, a tremendous amount of growth. Personally, to get into that place where when something happens, you think best case scenario. You think
just take time out in that moment,
Yes, time is definitely a part of it.
You feel like, oh, right now you feel like overreacting. You're mad. You're angry.
You're angry.
5 minutes, just walk.
You're mad. You're angry. You feel disconnected. You feel like you've been in a prison yard for 20 years, and you can't even figure it out. See, some people can figure it. They know why. Some people see that this guy's a jackass, is an asshole.
Or some people don't know.
Some people don't know why. If you don't know why, and you really feel sorry and you're feeling guilty and stuff like that, that's self-development issues. That's God missing in your life. That's personal purpose missing in your life. You're disconnected from those things. When you're disconnected from the GPS, you will feel disconnected from a spouse that you don't even know why you're disconnected from them. Okay, so we're not talking physical violence. We're not talking about physical abuse. We're not talking about verbal, emotional abuse or anything like that. That you've identified as that. We're talking about you don't even know why.
You're lost.
When you're confused, it's time to learn something new.
I agree.
It's time to learn something new. Because if you don't do that, what you find is that you start seeking happiness on the outside of you, and the end of that is destruction. I don't know how you want to shape it from it. I don't know exactly how the destruction is going to come to you. It comes to everyone in different forms, but it's destruction. It's destruction because you're self-destructing. And by the way, we do self-destruction slowly. It's not always like some catastrophe that happened, like fatal affair. No, it's not always that. It's like you're destroying yourself slowly. You're destroying your self-esteem. You're destroying your own self-worthiness. Because the only thing that happens when you get clingy, needy, and you seek happiness from other people is that you just feel less and less of yourself. Like it doesn't. If the person giving to you, if the person wants to manipulate you, they will give in to you. Like there are people that look for, like for example, this dude was looking for a blank in her that he could feel, and that's what they do. They will look for a void that they can feel. Okay, as opposed to, by the way, that's what everyone that wants to engage in seduction should do. You look for a void, you feel it. The only thing we ask is do positive things, fill it with positive.
Right.
But that's what they do. They fill it with positive first, or seemingly positive, and then they destroy. And then they strike when you least expect.
When you're vulnerable. Yeah, absolutely.
But it starts with like slow. It's like a slow death. It's like slow self-destruction. And that's why we're talking about secret. All she had to do. That person that I asked the question, I said, if he walked into that restaurant, right, would he be afraid? Would she be shaking? Right? If she would be shaking, at that point, something is wrong with that activity that he had going on. Something is wrong with respect to is going to destroy what she cared about.
Mhm.
Because if there was nothing wrong, she
Mhm.
wouldn't be scared.
Mhm.
So what happened after that? What happened after the fact is that right there, the husband text her,
Mhm.
right? Just after I asked you that question,
Mhm.
the husband text her and said, are you and Courtney having fun? That's the friend that they were supposed to be together, but she's with another man. She didn't mean anything. She didn't want to have an affair, but she's definitely missing something. She's suffering emotionally from him. So it's like marriage made in heaven. It was like the right timing. It always seemed like the right timing. That strange person always comes to your life at the right
Strange
time.
man or woman.
Man or woman.
Mhm.
Yeah, they always come at that right timing. It always seems like you're missing something emotionally at that point in time, or you're not even thinking about it. But you are. But in the midst of you talking, he will pull that thing out of you, and that's the weapon that is going
That's
to
gonna
use.
use against you.
That's how
Yeah.
the devil operates.
That's true.
He doesn't come and use something that you're completely strange to. It's something that seems familiar to you, right? And then he will pull it out of you. You will use your own mouth to say it, your own secret. You will use that secret and use it to haunt you and strike, and then destruction. And then when I say destruction, for the most part, I'm talking emotionally. I'm talking about right now, you don't know what's going on with you. Right now, you're feeling disconnected, and that's a secret away from your significant other.
Mhm.
And you can feel it because we're spirits. We have radar for bullshit. They can feel it, but they can't. They don't know exactly what it is. They can't put their finger on you on what's wrong with you, but they can feel that something is missing. But you don't tell them. The best person to tell, if you know that you're married to the right person, that's if you know. If you don't know if you're married to the right person or not, you need to find out. You talk to people and this is how I'm feeling, this is how I'm feeling. But even if you are going to move on, which we don't encourage or discourage, that's completely a person's choice, right? Even if you're going to move on into other relationships, don't make sure you stay clear off of other people's spirits. You need to build yourself first, right?
So you can attract the right person.
So you can attract the right person, because what you're going to attract is the worst. Okay? It's the worst you're going to attract. If a person sees a person that's emotionally not available, right? And they decide to want to be with you at that point in time, right? Excuse me, hold on. All right. So, what was I saying, baby?
If you're with someone, if you're with someone that is emotionally unavailable,
yeah,
you're talking about
everybody on Instagram heard us, by the way. I didn't mute Instagram, but that's okay. That's our secret. Yeah. So if you're, what was it?
We're talking about emotionally unavailable people.
If somebody knows that you're emotionally unavailable, which means you're with somebody already, and they want to mess with you, they're okay with messing with you at that point in time. They're not wrong, but that's the weakest human being you can want to be with. Okay? Because they also have found themselves in a place where they threw moral, the right thing out the window, right? They because that's what the dude was saying. It was like, we could do this. Are you scared or something? He was trying to use that to manipulate her,
right?
Because he knew that she had a void too.
Yes.
You know, and she did have a void. And that's why she almost fucked the dude in the bathroom in the club. That's real. It happens in real life. It can happen to anyone. Entanglement everywhere.
Entanglement is real.
You know,
Yeah.
So he used that to blackmail. He used the secret to blackmail her. The best thing when you see somebody trying to blackmail you with some weird ass secret, it's gonna cost you a lot more if you don't release that secret into space, into the universe. Tell the person that's directly involved. If that's your husband, tell them.
I agree.
Okay. The worst that they will do is they don't want to be with you anymore.
Yeah.
that's okay. That's better than somebody using that over your head or using that to manipulate you, using that to.
And you can't have a peace of mind and then you end up killing each other and stuff like that.
Yes. So that's basically what secret is. We're rounding up right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you,
if you keep certain type of secret, a secret that somebody will use to blackmail you is really the answer. If there's somebody that will use a secret to blackmail you, release the secret. Let it go.
Put it out.
Temporarily, just like you're suffering inside already anyway, temporarily your relationship may suffer because they just found out something you've been keeping from them for a while.
Yes.
But that's temporary too. They will respect you unless it gets too late. Even sometimes when it seems too late, that's why you see that Will Jada situation seems strange to people. Whatever that secret was, they let it out 2 years ago, wherever that was, and they've moved on, and they just happen to have to address something in the press for the first time. That's what that is. Let the secret go. Tell it.
And I mean, their friendship saved them.
Tell it. Because imagine if August Asina was saying that for the first time in the press and Will Smith never knew. That would destroy everything they have going on. To destroy that trust just that much more again, right? So don't, I would say if your secret is bothering you, you probably should tell it. If it's bothering you, you probably should tell it. If it's not bothering you, if somebody's trying to use to blackmail you, you call it blackmail, that means it's bothering you. That means it's time to tell it. All right. So thank you so much. Agree. Please click thumbnails, click thumbnails everywhere, because if you do that, YouTube will slap our video a lot less. Okay. Jesus. Yeah, please give thumbnails. I don't know. It's probably algorithm triggers and stuff like that. It's probably not about us. But we've been live right now for another hour on YouTube, and we seem like we're safe. Live is loading right now. Okay, we're still safe. We're still safe on YouTube. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Share, like, give it a thumbs up. If we have a hater, never know if you have a hater. Yesterday, I actually thought it was one of Hubie Franklin's haters.
What?
That's what I thought.
Jesus.
If we have a hater out there.
Oh my God. Pause due to poor connection. Talk about
focusing on negative things and then it expands, right?
See, I tell you all the time, dude.
But
stop.
I was saying positive. I said give it a thumbs up so that we have more positive than negative. Right. Just never know. All right. If you do that, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Comment your questions. Help us as well.
Thank you.
To continue to assess this thing. This is our own therapy session. We do it every Friday at 5 p.m. And you can join us anytime. All right. Thank you, Jummy Girl. Thank you guys. It's coming in late, but we're ending the session now. We'll see you on the next one. Next Friday, 5 p.m. New York time. Peace.
Take care, guys. Stay safe. Rona is real. You know, Uncle,